The fun?
All right, we're live on Facebook, segment 2, Interfaith Relationships. Vanessa and Joel, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Teeth are chattering, all set to go. Oh, it'll be fun. We're going to be on in about maybe a minute. We'll see.
It isn't just the thought that counts. It's also
But
the
they
reaction.
won't hear the music, right?
They'll hear it through that.
Maybe not 36.
Yeah, 35, 36. There may be, after you hear the music, if you don't mind putting the earphones back on the floor, because sometimes you get feedback.
Sure.
You would know that, right, in the acting
Funny
world.
is someone's cell phone once went off, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to, so they opened it, they threw it. So, I think we should never use last names.
Why?
Can't pronounce.
Oh, that's fine. Purely soft.
Yeah, see what I said last picture, some of it's hilarious.
Oh, one more commercial.
Oh, there you go.
Dragging it out.
You get two.
Roselle, how are the comments so far?
$25
Good?
off a complete
Yeah.
year of
All right.
eyeglasses and pay in 12 monthly interest-free
Okay,
payments.
where did everybody? Just remember, I want to remember to give you those phone numbers.
Okay.
Here we go.
Music.
And welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Matt Delvecchio, specializing in free retirement home search and senior transition support.
And I'm Corrie Serrata, clinical social worker and psychotherapist specializing in grief and loss.
Corey, so interesting. You know what? I might have to get into the yoga studio now after hearing that.
See?
Still anxious, still a little nervous. We'll see. Corey, I have to mention, you did an incredible Facebook post that I'd like you to share with our listeners.
Well, thank you. I was quite humbled by the fact that December 3rd is 30 years since my brother was hit and killed by a car in a car accident. And I decided to post what I called a death anniversary. 30 years later, 30 reasons why. And it was very tough to do, but very therapeutic. But what is so incredibly, I'm so humbled by the fact of 124 likes within hours and 54 comments. And that's the piece to me that God bless everybody and their support, and I highly encourage you, if you've lost somebody, to create these lists. And it's a very, I'll post it on our Facebook page. It's a list just of things that I remember about him and I want people to know. And that's really how I say death ends a life but not a relationship. So thank you to everybody that reached out and acknowledged it, because it felt incredible.
You know, good for you. It was a touching tribute. I read it too as well, and nice to see you've got so much support behind you, and so well deserved. I got to switch gears a little bit here, but I do want to mention our sponsor, a gentleman, we've had him on the air, Marco Vendramini. He is an amazing investment wealth planner. Corey, you've met him as well. He does a lot of speaking engagements. Very smart, dynamic speaker. He's got one coming up this Wednesday in Blainville, and he goes around Greater Montreal doing these different presentations. So he's got a 7 to 9, I believe it is, wine and cheese and managing your investments in turbulent times. And these days, a very, very appropriate topic to talk about. So Marco, good on you. I think you're doing really well, giving a lot of education. If you want to look it up, just look up Marco Vendramini, and there's a number there, and you can call away for this Wednesday. So Marco, thank you for doing that for the public. You know what? I guess this might be appropriate leading into our next segment. And happy Hanukkah.
Thank you so much. And as I see the sun has clearly gone down, we are lighting our first candle tonight. For those of you who do celebrate Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah to all the folks out there who do celebrate. It's an interesting segue into what we're talking about today, which is with the holidays upon us, there's a number of couples that find themselves figuring out how and why and which way to celebrate. In our case today, Joel's Jewish, Vanessa was baptized Protestant, and they are approximately one of 20 to 25% of couples in Canada living in interfaith relationships. Today on our show, we're going to explore what I have known as the December dilemma and other issues related to interfaith relationships. Welcome to the show, Vanessa and Joel.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome.
So let's start off very simply because everyone wants to know, how long have you guys been together?
Joel and I have been together for 6 years.
Joel, you concur with that?
Sounds about right. Let me just check my calculator here.
Okay, so 6 years. How old are you, by the way? We should just.
I'm 25, so when Joel and I first started dating, I was 19.
And I'm 28, so you do the math.
Well,
Not
all right.
okay.
You know, it's interesting. It's at that age, and Corrie, I don't know if I've told you this story, but at around 20 years old, I was in university, maybe a little naive, and the complexities of interfaith relationship. You asked me then what that was, I would have had no idea. Well, started, I'm a good Catholic boy, and I started going out with a beautiful, nice Jewish girl, and going very well. And then it came time, hey, I'm going to, when can I meet your parents? And she said, Matt, that won't be happening. And just like that, I understood complexities of interfaith relationships began right there. But at least we knew in advance that this one wasn't going to be a long-term relationship, but it really did resonate with me. And the reason why I'm bringing this story up is because I guess the level of your religion growing up comes into play. Obviously, for at that time was very, very important. So how about you guys? The level of religion growing up, if you were to rank it, how was it?
If I were to rank it, I mean, how can you rank something like that? But, my family is not very religious. Like Corrie said, I was baptized, and, that was, I think, more my grandparents pushing that on my parents, but we celebrate big holidays like Easter and Christmas time, but we didn't go to church every Sunday. That's pretty much how I was raised.
And you, Joel?
Yeah, so my family also, we follow some of the traditions. We go to synagogue on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but outside of that, we're not, I wouldn't say, very religious. And I was bar mitzvahed, but said, we light the candles on Hanukkah. It's the first night, but we're sort of
traditional.
We follow the traditions, yeah.
And it's, I think that we hear a lot of that. And one of the reasons I'm fascinated with this topic is because for many, many years I ran support groups for interfaith couples, and I would hear a lot of the concerns and issues and challenges that they would face. So when it comes to, let's say, holiday celebration, I'd be curious about how both of you see or do, let's say, something about Christmas and Hanukkah, for example. I had couples that said, oh, we do both. I have a Christmas tree and we burn it for 8 days.
That's great. We should do that.
That sounds like something Joel wants to do.
Okay.
Oh,
So in keeping with that, what do you guys do?
I mean, we're so lucky because it's our first apartment that we're living in this year, so we get to kind of form our own first holiday celebration together, even though we've been doing it in separate places for 5 years already, or 6 years. So this year I bought a Christmas tree, and I decorated it with blue and silver and gold for Israel and Hanukkah. Joel's not so appreciative, but I love it. I think it looks great.
A bit of a Grinch, not gonna lie.
But it's such a great example, thank you, because I've worked with couples where the Christmas tree for the person who celebrates Christmas is like, oh, it's family and fun and presents, and for someone who's not comfortable with that, it's like, oh, Christ, and the crucifix,
Exactly.
And it's not, but it's meaning.
Yeah.
It's really about the meaning.
We're talking with Joel and Vanessa about interfaith relationships and sometimes the complexities of it, especially around holiday season. Just along that, how are your parents reacting? It's been a while now. I'd love to hear your parents' reaction.
I think both of our parents are very supportive of us. We're really lucky, I would say. My parents have been nothing but supportive of me and Joel.
Yeah, I think my parents too care more about the person that I'm with than necessarily what their background is. That's it.
That's what I think is, at the end of the day, there's not a right way to do this. The right
Right.
way to do it is the way that feels comfortable for you. And I worked with a number of couples, and people would say to me, "Oh, what's your success rate?" And I'd say, it depends on how you define success. Is success them finding a way to do this? Is success them breaking up? And really, I saw the gamut depending on the couple.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we want to hear a lot more about this. It's such an interesting topic, especially this time of year. And you're such a good couple. This is the first time I've met you. Corrie has known you for a while, and we want to hear about a little bit more of the, I guess we'll call it the magic. You are a good couple, and I mean that sincerely. And so we're going to head out to the CJD Traffic Center, but when we come back, we want to hear about what you would consider your secret to success of a wonderful relationship that you seem to have. But first, let's head to Lauren Glazer at the CJD Traffic Center. I had to stretch that out a little bit because we had to go to 4:45.
4:45 was
Yeah.
good, but we got it right on.
Yeah, very
on,
good.
Right on. Okay.
Sorry, I have to interrupt. We already have a text for you. Can you
Yeah.
give us Rosalie's number? So
That's
I'm
great.
going to give you a phone number.
Oh,
And the other
514.
two, though.
514-267.
So
hold on. I thought he's fast. Oh my God, yeah. Okay. 514-267.
2302.
267.
2302.
514-267-2302.
Yeah, and can you repeat? I was driving. This person was driving. So if
Okay.
you want to reach out to that person,
Yeah, sure.
But I'd like to give her the other two also. Someone had carpal tunnel. If she wants to say she hasn't returned and she'd like to, let her talk to her about it.
Okay, I'll just
Yeah, that's
text
good.
that person.
Yeah.
Do I text that person and say,
You can.
yeah.
Yeah. So when we come back, I'm going to ask you what we said before. I'm going to welcome you back and say, what would you say is the secret to making your relationship work? And then we will talk about. I don't want to start a fight, but about talking about marriage. Like, how did you ever think about how you would? The ceremony, what kind of ceremony you'd have, and then the big number one topic is about raising children, and that's certainly what I've seen is an issue. And
what's
again,
that?
about raising children.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
we're
number
okay
one
with
topic. That is the number one topic. So about if you choose to go the route of marrying, what kind of ceremony would you want? I mean, you perfectly went into that because that's what I saw all the time. Is one person loves the Christmas tree, and it's not that it's just it's different. So it's the meaning of a Christmas tree to you versus you, and I would feel the same way, by the way, because it's just I haven't grown
I'm
up
just a
with it.
Grinch in general, though.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's not a.
Now we're going to, the second part goes super quick because at around 4:55 and a half, we're going to thank you, and then we got to go out for a teaser. So we have about 5 to 6 minutes.
Okay.
So let's just be sure we tackle, we
So,
might have 3 questions,
you did
right? So we want to make
okay.
sure we,
Marriage.
so the secret to your success.
Raising children is huge.
So
and
I'll do the
I-
raising children one.
Yeah.
But Corey's going to start with the secret to your
Yeah.
success, in your opinion. I'll do the children one, and then if we have time,
Do you want to do? Will it be okay if I ask about burial? Does it matter?
I'm okay with it. I don't know if Joel.
I don't have many answers to a lot of these questions, unfortunately. So
No, it's okay.
I can make something up. There.
Okay. Be Shrek.
and I think if you ask that question, though, you have to explain
Well,
why you're asking
yeah.
that question.
Okay, I will. So with the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we didn't shout out for a text or anything like that. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Text me all your hard-hitting questions.
Matt, do you have paper to write down those other 2 phone numbers for Roselle?
Yeah.
Justine came on with somebody else to talk about the marijuana, legalization of marijuana, and it was our biggest number of texts.
I'm sure.
For sure.
I'm sure it was.
Was that your, what's that?
When Justine came on with
That's
her
because
friend.
she said shit on the air.
That was the first time she
Classic.
came on.
Classic Justine.
Yeah.
Shitty. She said shitty. Oh, that's so shitty.
I said shitty.
Yeah, that's it. She
Yeah.
rubbed it in by saying,
Yeah.
oh, I just swore on the air.
I just moved past it.
Yeah.
So you're coming in, Corey. Here we
Oh,
go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always forget. Listen to the song. Oh, listen to the song. It's a good one. Welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. I'm Corrie Sirota with my co-host Matt Del Vecchio, and we are talking with Vanessa and Joel about some of the complexities around interfaith relationships, especially around coming up with the holiday season. Who's celebrating what? How you doing it? Always a challenge. So we wanted to know, because you guys don't seem to make, or you seem to make it not a challenge. So what's the secret there?
I think we're fooling you.
I would definitely, yeah. I would say to any couple, you got to make sure you move into a place that has 2 bathrooms. That's the
huge,
secret.
Huge factor.
Okay.
In all seriousness, I don't think it's a secret to anybody that any relationship, regardless of faith or culture, is hard work and talking it out, and sometimes that can be hard for both of us. Sometimes I don't want to talk and he wants to talk, or vice versa, and you got to work together. And if you're willing to fight for a relationship and you love that person, then it's not hard to make that decision, to talk and to work through your problems.
What a great answer. What a great answer, because that really is, I agree, there is no secret.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, we tend to focus, when you're in an interfaith relationship, on religion. If you can work out everything else, you can figure out religion. So it really is about the relationship, basic relationship skills, communication, negotiation, and compromise, and respect, which is clearly elements that you guys display.
Continuing to try and get better. Yeah. It's not perfect, but
always a work in progress.
Always.
Yeah, very good. We have Joel and Vanessa in studio with us, talking about the complexities of interfaith relationships. And by the way, Vanessa, you said in all seriousness, after Joel said about the 2 bathroom things, he's damn serious.
No, he is.
Deadly
That's right.
serious.
Yeah.
Our place only has 1 bathroom, so let me tell you.
All right, now, a difficult subject. You don't have children yet. Raising children is a very contentious issue when we're talking interfaith relationships. So have you thought about raising children and how you're going to go about it?
Joel, when are we getting a dog?
Yeah, I can barely take care of myself, so myself, dog, children, it's far way down the line. But I'd be happy as long as I just don't raise a serial killer.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
That's an interesting barometer.
Set the level high there, Joel.
Yeah.
I think as long as our children, let's assume, will be happy and healthy, we will be happy. I am completely open to raising a child that is both Jewish and celebrates the holidays that I celebrate with my family, because those are important to me. And if certain aspects of Joel's culture are important to him and I, then bring the best of both. Why not have both and raise a child that has the best features?
Those were always the kids I was most jealous of at school. You got Christmas and Hanukkah.
Christmaka.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think that's certainly been, in my experience, one of the number one challenges that couples would come into my groups with, and they would say that they just can't agree on it. And we talk about why, and it was interesting because the children were not there. The children did not exist at that point. So why? If you're able to compromise and find solutions to everything else in your relationship, what is it about the children that is so challenging? And I think that it was always very hard for them to articulate that, because they really hadn't worked out things within themselves. So the children will come naturally. You love someone who's of another faith. Why would you love your children any less?
Hey, Corey, I think that's such an important point you're bringing up. And just to hear Vanessa's answer, you are open to it. So right there, I'm listening and say, okay, you guys, you got it. You've had the right frame of mind. And I know, Corey, in your support groups, you just get couples that dig in their heels, and the writing's on the wall right there. It's just, you have to have some serious conversations beforehand. But to hear you, Vanessa and Joel, hats off to you. It can't be easy, but you're certainly open to it.
Okay.
You had an important question.
So we're rounding up here, and I guess we often look through the life cycle. And when it comes to, you can figure out the way to get married, you can figure out and agree to disagree on how you're going to raise your children. In religion, when it comes to death and dying, which now brings me both my pieces together. You cannot be married in a Jewish cemetery if you're not Jewish. And so I don't know if you're a young, beautiful couple. Who thinks about these things? But I am I feel like the Grim Reaper here, coming in and saying, when I put that out there, what do you think?
I never thought of that, actually. It's
Yeah.
kind of a downer.
Sorry.
No.
That's a very Corrie question,
Yeah.
by the way.
Thanks, Corey. I mean, I don't know. I think all my family has always been cremated. You know, we could probably work something out. Get those kids to figure something
Yeah,
out for us.
I'll be dead, so
Yeah.
they
Oh, that's right.
I'll just sprinkle me over your
Yeah.
area. I don't know.
I think the response actually, Corrie, is very representative. It is not front of mind.
No.
It's not going to be a deal breaker. You'll have to, or family members will have to deal with that, and it's not enough for you to not move forward with your relationships. So and it's probably the right attitude about that. Corrie, I'm going to ask you one very last question. Do these support groups, what is the biggest issue you have to deal with couples?
Well, I would say actually it's often raising children, but it's everything from dealing with your in-laws and future in-laws' parents, raising children, whether or not where you're putting the Christmas tree, if you're going to put the Christmas tree there or not. These are all very, very important, challenging issues, but as I said already, if you can work out everything else in your relationship, you can work this out. It's something that it's hard to often articulate, because most of us have lost religion after 13, 14 when we don't have to, so we talk about it as youngsters. So just compromise, negotiate, respect each other, and you will figure out everything.
Well said, well said. Well, Joel, Vanessa, thank you so much for having the guts and the courage to come on Life Unrehearsed and open up like
thanks
this.
so
Thank
much.
you very much.
I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing, and I knew you would be. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. Next week on Life Unrehearsed, meet Miriam Pearl, the creator of Delicious Without Gluten, and learn how and why she created that company.
And we will also have Robert Wise and Ivan Rubio. We're going to have them in studio talking about going from worrier to warrior, how these two men are helping people manage their anxiety and stress. That's next Sunday at 4 p.m., where you can listen to Life Unrehearsed every Sunday on CJD 800. Good job! You did it!
Good job,
You
good
didn't
job,
faint.
you did it.
No, I just
Great
answered everything you
answers.
joked though, so sorry.
That's what you
All
said,
right.
Joel.
That's how
We
I
have
live
to
my
say
life.
Thanks. You're
A
welcome.
sense of
bye bye to Facebook.
is not.
Bye, Facebook.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in.
And we have comments. Phyllis Frost, love you, Core. Phyllis Frost. Oh, Ashley.
Oh, I know Phyllis.
Ashley, you
Ashley.
guys are so cute. Thank you, Ashley. All right. Bye bye.